Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday night. It is time for us to get together once again and have a powwow with the one and only Brian Red. Good evening, Brian.
Good evening, John. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. This has been kind of a thing. We'll eventually find out if people will like us getting together on Tuesday night or if they're just putting up with us.
Right. Well, we'll see what Ian W. Buttery one and John has to say about that. Those are the people I'm seeing in the chat. So hello, gentlemen.
We got Ian Buttery and John there. They're there with us. Good evening, everyone. We are going out right now to Facebook and to YouTube. So if you have any want to be part of the chats and such, please bounce over to the YouTube channel. I hope I put the link in there. You know what? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Yes, bless you. I'm going to put that link in the Disc Jockey News on the Facebook.
You're a youth pastor. You actually did bless me then. I mean, that's like legit. Right? Like when I say it's just crap, I have no authority, but you do. It's kind of neat.
Now we're going to get into a religious side of it. We could. I mean, for those of you who, some of you probably saw the little thing as I was getting hooked up. I did a live thing, but before the show, sometimes we get into some pretty heavy conversations and such. And tonight, I think, would be considered kind of one of those, as we were kind of going back. A lot of you may know that last week after our show where we talked about stage health and being up for the camera and up for the crowd, and I turned around, went to bed, and then I afflicted with, found appendicitis. But my wife has a newspaper, the local newspaper, and that goes to press Thursday morning. So that means Wednesday, Lori is head cook and bottle washer and doing all these things. And I can't say to her, honey, I'm sick. Take me to the emergency room. Because she'll lose several hours. And I know her. She would work right through the night to get the paper out on time. That's just the way she is. So I just laid on the floor in a fetal position until Thursday. And that was my choosing, not hers by any means. But so, yeah, we were just kind of, I had mentioned to Brian that we talked about having our kit. We talked about it a little bit last night even, and some of you were sharing, what's in your little emergency bag. The cough drops and ibuprofen and da-da-da-da-da-da. Somebody's got Percocet, I think I saw, in their emergency bag they take to gigs. It's like, oh my God.
Wow.
I've got narcotics in there. Hey, Brian Groom, let's get happier. Oh. Cool, you guys are getting they're coming in. Thank you guys for joining us. You got Howie and Twisted Mickey,
Mike.
Keith,
Mickey,
yes. Yep, are coming on in. So thank you guys for coming in and joining us. So we were talking about there's some things that can happen to us, and this is going to be off topic, and we'll get back to our topic a little bit later. But there's things that can happen to us that is just going to stop you dead in your tracks, and there's just no way.
The day's over.
The day's over, and. Yeah. Appendicitis, I can do. There's a little bit, but when I was sick and doing that. But Brian had, of course, as most of you know, some of you may not know, that he had a major stroke. That would have been 5 years ago. I had a massive event there in his life that just changed the world as he knew it. And if you guys can humor us for a little bit, let's talk a little bit, Brian, about that. How the thing came on, because we've all heard, as you were referring to, the little things to watch out for, the signs. My mother-in-law is in her mid to late 80s, and I know whenever Lori goes up there, there's things she wants to make sure that she does. Smile and the eye contact and that listening to her talk. All those little typical things, because we know that she has had some issues. But
mine was unique because, and I knew because my great aunt had a stroke, like I don't know, in the 70s. And she did some repetitive things with her hands, and then her face was, she had drooping, and the anagram or whatever, the little thing you're supposed to remember is called FAST. Mm-hmm. F is face. So if your face droops, you smile, it's like, instead of, and then A is like arm, like your arm's not right. And then S is speech. If your speech is slurred, you're having a stroke. So T is take action. And I knew this. So when it was happening, I mean, not to go through the whole thing, I guess, when it was happening, I was asking myself, is this the stroke? Is this what a stroke feels like? None of the things in the FAST, thing you're supposed to remember are happening to me, because they weren't. It was blurred vision initially. And I was like, whatever, blurred vision. Okay, well, maybe there's something in my eye, maybe I need glasses. I don't know. Then I got real nauseous. Or no, I got dizzy. I got real dizzy. I kind of had that sick feeling, the feeling when you're sick, but it was like times like 50. And then the icing on the cake was I was vomiting like profusely after I drove for a little while. I was dizzy. I had both hands on the wheel, really focusing on the road. I pulled over and I need some fresh air. I got out of the car. I couldn't hardly walk. I was telling John I caved in the fender of somebody's Neon in a McDonald's parking lot. I apologize to that person because I just fell into it. I couldn't walk. And I thought I had an ear infection. There was no evidence to me from what I had been told my whole adult life that I was having a stroke. So I didn't go to the hospital. I went home and went to bed. So yeah, shame on me, I guess, or shame on somebody because I didn't know that this could also be stroke stuff. And I've said this like in support groups. I've said it when I do some of my mentoring for people who've had stroke. When they present FAST to people, the National Stroke Association, I've talked to them about this. Can we say these are some symptoms of stroke, but not limited to? Because that's true. You can have something more than just that FAST thing and then have a massive stroke, which I did. And then it did take 3 days for them to find my stroke because it happened in my brainstem. And I was just kind of sharing with John that, and some of you may know this, some of you may not, but I'm not supposed to be here. Most people who have this happen to them, they don't come back. They don't last long. It's over. I came about 1 millimeter away from cardiac arrest. So I'm lucky to be here at all. But yeah, I mean, some subjects, like John said, it just stops you dead in your tracks. There's nothing you can do. It's just over. You got game over. You got to walk away.
Yeah.
I will say this though, as a DJ, at the time I was scheduling a nightclub 6 nights a week. And this happened late Sunday night, almost Monday morning. I didn't make the schedule for the week. So I was going to go in Monday night. I had a gig that night. And there was a DJ behind that booth on Monday night. So although something happened to me, I was still able to communicate enough to the powers that be that, hey, we need somebody in that booth tonight and someone needs to take over the schedule for the week. So the show went on without me, but it went on. So
yeah. And that's the thing. We can have our emergency bag for the small things, but really, I think part of that emergency bag is going to be should almost be like a list of important numbers and a few details that a significant other.
Contact numbers are big. Yeah.
Yeah. That's somebody who can basically a spouse or significant other can basically say, "Oh no, John's fallen and he won't get up."
My dad is 82, and he's in pretty good health. I mean, my dad, I wouldn't mess with him. He's a little guy, but he's just built like Popeye the Sailor Man. He's a rough, tough old cowboy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, but he's got this envelope he keeps in the visor of his vehicle with all of his medical records, what medications he's on, emergency contact information, primary care physician, all that stuff. And he keeps it updated and he keeps it in an envelope in the visor of his vehicle just in case.
Yeah.
It's so smart.
Very wise, very wise. So, okay, guys, we'll get back. We're going to get on to tonight's topic. Brian, and you did a little bit of discussion about this when it comes to. Let's kind of start with the impetus of the video you did, where you were talking about, the wedding DJ or a DJ who does weddings. Mm-hmm. What was your motivation behind that kind of started you with that video?
Okay, I did a gig on Saturday, and to make a long story short, I'd put a lot of time and prep into the ceremony. I was working with the bride and her mother and the pastor and the venue. And I mean, I worked on this. The prep on this was, I think I figured the prep on it was 35 hours. I mean, it was a lot of work. And the song list, and it was all classical music. I had 11 classical music cues for this. I had to locate the music, get the right versions of it, and get them in the right order. Mm-hmm. I had to take all the cues when people come down the aisle, all this stuff. And I also had to logistically handle sound in the venue. It was a unique venue. And there are homes around this venue. If the decibel level is over 72, the cops get called and they get shut down. So I had to design something for this room where they could hear it, yet it wouldn't go beyond the building itself. Mm-hmm. I had to do a lot of things during dinner and during cocktails, a lot of announcing of names, a lot of, just general activities that you do, toasts, prayers, all of that stuff. And to make a long story short, as soon as this was all over, the evening ended early. Something happened. It was nothing that I had any involvement with. It was just something unfortunate that happened. And so the evening ended early. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't like doing ceremonies. I don't like doing all these formalities. I do them because the payoff is that I get to DJ for people when I'm done. That's what I like to do. It's kind of like if you went on a date, you've been looking forward to the date and you take her to this restaurant. And you don't really like this restaurant. It's like, it's okay, but it's not my favorite restaurant, but it's really where she wants to go. So we're going to go to this restaurant. And then she wants to go to a movie. Like, this is not the movie I would have picked, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I'll take her to this movie. And then afterwards, she wants to go to this certain ice cream place. That's not your favorite ice cream place. And you would rather get a sundae, but she wanted a little cone and you're going to do it because she says they're good and you're going with it. And at the end of the day, she says, okay, good night, and goes in the house. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Was it something I said? Oh, no. I had a great time. I'm just tired. Thank you so much. And you and I both know this is not why you went through all this crap. There was a payday at the end of this that you were supposed to get, but you didn't get it. That's how I felt at this wedding. That was my motivation for the video.
I like there's something at the end. There's going to be something at the end.
Right. There's going to be something that you want to do at the end.
Thank you for your time.
Yes.
What? No.
Was it something I said? No. Everything, it was wonderful. It was the best night I ever had, but thank you. I'm going to bed. That's what happened. And that's why I did the video.
Mm-hmm.
But then things spawned from this, thoughts spawned from this. And I'm thinking of all of these things that I do as a wedding DJ. And I listed some of those things on Facebook. I don't know if you saw the post, but I mean, what are we really doing? We're being an MC, but not only an MC, but we're also hosting games and we're hosting activities. We're coordinating and organizing ceremonies. We're being a sound tech. We're being a mic tech. We're being a consultant on all of this timeline stuff. We're lighting designers, all of these things. I did a gig a week ago, and it was like a last-minute gig. Mm-hmm. I got a phone call, and this gentleman was saying to himself, we've got a DJ, but he's not comfortable with doing this wedding. So we may want to bring you in. How many gigs have you done? I'm like, are you serious? I have no idea. I don't know. A lot. Well, we're looking for somebody who can do like real wedding stuff. So if you're looking for a wedding DJ, you're calling the right guy. And he says, well, I'm going to send you an email. I want you to look at it and see if you're comfortable with what they want to do here. I said, okay, well, I've got my email box open. Send it right now. So he sends it. And I'm looking at it, and it's very standard stuff. It's wedding party, what all. And then I see this newlywed game. And I'm like, newlywed game? Oh, they want to do the shoe game. Mm-hmm. He says, you know what that is? I'm like, yeah. I said, well, we have no idea what it is, so you're hired.
Alrighty then.
Right. So I'm taking that, and I'm taking what happened to me this weekend, and I'm taking all of that, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm on to like this new thing now. Are we really doing ourselves justice by just telling people we're wedding DJs? And that's not to suggest that we call ourselves something other than a wedding DJ. But maybe we should have, what would you call it, John? Not subtitles, but
yeah, to a point, that would be a subtitle would be the best way to describe it. I mean, you've got, because there's just so many different variations. I mean, I suppose it could be like endorsements.
Right. That's what I mean. Like almost, I mean, you got it, it's on the honor system, of course. But if you tell somebody, hey, I'm a wedding DJ, they say, oh, great. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you another story. My stories are good tonight. They're laughing at my stories.
Yep.
Okay. So here's my second story. About 10 years ago, I had a really bad toothache. And so it was at night, and I was struggling all through the night, gargling salt water, everything I could just to chill it out. I was taking opiates because my dad had just had back surgery to try to get rid of the toothache, and it wasn't helping. It was really severe. And so in the morning, my mom said, "Hey, look, I got a hold of this dentist. He's like 2 counties away, but he'll take you." Okay. So I go to this guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, you need a root canal." So he does the X-ray. He does the root canal, and it's just like he's done it his whole life. It's no big deal. And then he puts a temporary cap on there, and he says, "Okay, you're good to go. I've got you fitted for a cap. So come back in like a week or whatever. We'll put the cap on." Okay, so I came back in a week, and the dude put the cap on, and it was done. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of years ago, I've moved since. I'm nowhere near this guy. I'm getting ready to go to England on a trip for BPM, and I get another toothache. I'm going to go again. I'm like, I know how bad this can get, so I'm going to handle it now. But I'm going to England in like 2 days, so I'm going to go to the dentist because I did this before and it all worked out. So I called around. You throw a rock, you hit a dentist office in the city. So the closest dentist office that could take me, I went. I go in there. And they, "Okay, yeah, what's wrong?" I'm like, "I have a toothache." "Well, we're going to do an X-ray." So they do an X-ray. "Oh, yeah, okay. Well, hold on a minute. Dentist will be with you in a minute." Dentist walks in and says, "Yeah, you need a root canal." I was like, "Yeah, I kind of figured." And I'm like getting ready to lay back so we can do it. And he's like, "Oh, no, I don't do those." "Well, what do you mean you don't do root canals?" He's like, No, I don't do root canals. I'm going to refer you to someone who does. All right. This is really weird. What dentist doesn't do root canals?
Mm-hmm.
So I get a referral, and I drive like the next county over in this real affluent office building, and there's a lady in there just, "Oh yeah, I do root canals." I said, "It's really weird because I'm like, what dentist doesn't do root canals?" He's like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I'll take care of it for you." So she does, and she puts a temporary cap on, and oh no, she doesn't. I'm going to shoot you up with some stuff. It's going to kill the pain when you get back from your trip. I'll do the root canal, and we will then get your cap and all that. I said, okay. So she gave me the shot. I went through my trip, no problem, no pain. Came back right away. She did the root canal. She said, "Okay, now you have to get your cap." I'm like, "Okay, well, when can I schedule that?" She says, "Oh, no, I don't do caps." "What do you mean you don't do crowns and caps?" "No, I don't do that. I just do root canals."
But I know a guy.
So you see where I'm coming from here. The public is always going to see us as wedding DJs. Kind of like I'm always going to see this guy as a dentist, even though he's not really a dentist to me, and she's not really a dentist to me because they don't do the whole gambit of dental things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they may have some certs under their name that I don't know what they are. I don't know.
Yeah, we would know what they mean.
It would be a little ridiculous, I don't know, the general public, if I don't know, and I'm a relatively smart guy. I don't think most people know. So, geez, maybe this is the same problem with wedding DJs. People say, "Well, I need a wedding DJ," and they hire people assuming they're going to be able to do all of these duties and do them well, but maybe not. So I'm only opening the conversation to what we might be able to do to our benefit and the client's benefit to let them know that we're more than just the guy who plays music at weddings. And that if they're looking for a guy who does something other than playing music at weddings, you need to talk to somebody who can do these things. And I think that step one would be to actually put a name to the things that we do, because I don't know that there is a name to the things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could all agree on some names of things that we do, then maybe we could start advertising ourselves as someone who specializes in these particular
X, Y, and Z, yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, for sure.
Changing the name from anything other than wedding DJ, as I think Larry Williams pointed out, is completely counterproductive, because we can't expect the general public to differentiate between a wedding DJ and a mobile entertainment specialist.
Mm-hmm.
They may not know what the hell that means.
Yeah.
That could be a magician. I mean, it could be.
Yeah, it could be
It could
anything.
be a photo booth operator. It could be a party clown. It could be a lot of things. But
we actually had one back when Yellow Pages were out there. We came up with that. We were having that issue, and we went into one of the phone books. We had the ability to have a couple of ads because they buy one get one free, and it's like, good. Can we have mobile entertainment as a heading? And they're like, yeah, let's do that. Wouldn't you know, the type of calls we got from that one wasn't for DJ, wasn't for party entertainment, that kind of party entertainment. It was like,
Right, strippers.
so what time do the strippers show up? Yep. And
We're looking for a cop.
I know on this particular, at that time we were, that's when I had, Lori, and I had, I think 3 or 4 gals on staff. So, it probably wasn't funny at staff meetings when we're like, so I got another call for some.
Anybody game?
Anybody want to make some extra money? I hear that the Jones party is having a great time Saturday night.
Yeah, there's money to be had, guys.
Yeah, the only music they want to hear is yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That's my thought I'm throwing out there, and I'm just trying to open the conversation. And I did make a short list of the things that I've done in the last few weeks. Sound designer. What do you call somebody who goes in and actually DJs a ceremony? Not a ceremony DJ, I suppose, maybe, but there was a little more to that because I was reading cues. A ceremony entertainment director, something. We need names for these things. We need to identify what they're actually called, because just putting it under the blanket of wedding DJ isn't fair to us, because we've worked hard to hone these skills. And there are people out there who are weekend warriors. They don't really know how to do this stuff. They know how to maybe do a grand entrance and guard a bouquet and DJ, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we can't assume that all DJs know how to do it. The public is going to assume. It would be really cool if we could put it on our cards, put it on our website. We do these things. These are the things that we do. I don't know. Again, I'm opening up the floor for conversation.
Yeah, some of the different things people are throwing out there. Talking about master of ceremonies and lighting decor, and I think I saw in that post, people were talking wedding entertainment specialists. And,
I see a lot of that. I know that a lot of the gentlemen who wear suits at the trade shows do that, but I think it goes beyond just giving it a title. I think we need to describe what it is. So if you like, for instance, if you had wedding DJ, then under that there were like these subtitles of such where they said things like master of ceremonies, MC, game host, or whatever, and then there was a short paragraph describing exactly what that meant. I think that would be valuable to the client. It would be informative. It wouldn't just be throwing a fancy title at them. This is what that means. And then I'm a sound designer. What does that mean? Well, it means that I put sound together for the room. It's not just kind of a one size fits all. In my case, that's the case. I've built systems for very small venues lately, and venues with challenges. I've been able to do this successfully. I know not all DJs do this. A lot of DJs have a one size fits all system, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I can actually do sound design and fit them into the rooms. And I think people should know about that. I think that's important. And then maybe it gets to the point where they look at all of my qualifications, and then they see my price. And maybe they say to themselves, I don't need all that. I just need a dude to come and play tunes. Cool. Then I'm probably more DJ than you're looking for. You should call Bob. And that's okay. Not everybody can be your client. But on the other hand, if Bob gets in over his head, he should probably refer him to me. So I don't know.
And as you were talking about that, kind of that little description, the different topic or different skill sets and what it means.
Yeah.
I'm almost thinking, we spend, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, we were spending so much time, here's 10 questions to ask your DJ. Here's things you should know. Maybe if we would be, taking that and using it to just educate instead of to basically market against others.
Right.
It would have been much more valuable.
There is a lack of empathy in the DJ community, and it's starting to bother me a little bit. Others are seeing it. I don't feel like people really understand that not everyone can be you. Not everyone's going to think just like you. And just because they don't think like you, and just because they don't subscribe to the same theories that you do on what we do, does not always make them wrong. Yeah. We don't have to bash each other. We don't have to make ourselves look, it doesn't make us look better by talking bad about someone else. That is not what I'm interested in doing. We're all a little different. I think it would just be much more productive. Again, if we just educated people, we don't have to say, well, most DJs don't do this, but I do it. No, just this is what I do. And if you don't need this, then maybe I'm too much DJ for you. You can, Bob is probably what you're looking for. He's really good. He doesn't do other things I do, but his price is probably more in your your ballpark, and for what you want, I think Bob's going to do a great job for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it too, but it's going to cost you this.
Yeah, because
It's fair.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it did, and that's been one actually. I've had people, well, we just want you to do X instead of X, Y, Z, and ABC. So can't you just do it for a lesser price? And it's like obviously I could. I mean, it's a free world, but
Yeah.
it's that if I take that date off my calendar, I'm only limited to. I'm going to only allow 20 dates to be booked in 2000X.
Right.
If I take off one of those dates, I either am compensated for it because there's a limited supply of those, or I'm going to stay home and spend time with my family.
Right.
So it's something that, we could go and reduce, but it's
a prime date. I mean, we were talking about Tuesday afternoon or something. Maybe we can talk, but we're Saturday and this is a prime date. I can't do that. But what I can do is maybe turn you on to somebody who might be able to help you. That's fair, I think. I don't know, but I'm all about networking and helping each other. I know that everyone's like that. A lot of people are just out for themselves, and they just want to get that dough. And I know a lot of those people watch my videos. A lot of those people comment, ask me questions, and it's okay. It's a business, but I guess I'm kind of a hippie, man. I'm utopian. I want everyone just to get along.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's room for everybody out there. I think we can all help each other. And I think we can do it in a positive way instead of, more in the 10 questions to ask your DJ, drill these people on dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I get those people calling me sometimes. Well, I have 10 questions for you.
Yeah. I've got a few questions. Do you mind if it's like, how many? 25. Oh, you want to email them over and I'll ignore them. DJ Dave, he put on the problem is trying to undercut his weekly gigs. I'm going to move that as a question into the second show because I think that we can really dig into that one. And Brian, I can give you some good tips for that one because that's I don't want to just gloss over that. I think that we can really.
Let's talk about it.
So we'll put that in the second show.
Does anybody in the chat room kind of understand where I'm? I'm just kind of this is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, they're calling you cruise director Julie McCoy is what they're calling you right now. So for those of you younger out there, that was the Love Boat was the thing, and Julie McCoy was the cruise director, this bubbly little blonde gal who was basically she was the group hug type of a person.
Yeah.
So
she was different off camera, I guess. I knew some people who were on that Pacific Princess on a cruise and told me some stories. So.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I think she ended up in rehab and a few other things over her.
She needed to be in rehab, I think.
Yeah.
The only rehab I went to was physical therapy. So, but yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I'd like to keep going with this. I'll maybe do a video on it, and I'm looking for ideas as to what to coin these, what to actually call what we do, because I don't know if anyone's ever really given them proper names.
Yeah, I think everyone is. It's really been everyone's doing the approach and throwing things out there and hoping something sticks, and it never has been. It wasn't Gopher. It was Gopher, I believe, is what.
Gopher.
There we go. Now, he probably typed.
Gopher. He was the president of Goodwill for a while. I think he was.
Yeah, he actually was one. Didn't he? Wasn't he a politician?
He was a politician in Georgia, and now I think he's like the president of Goodwill. No, he wasn't well, maybe he was. Cooter was a politician for Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah. But Gopher was the VP chairman or whatever of Goodwill Industries for a while.
Yeah, he had a different because I know he had a career. Some of them just were fizzled after that. But yeah, there's no tangent there whatsoever.
Then there was Isaac. I had two fingers. I do the Isaac thing.
It's really okay, let's get to the last part of our show. I'm going to give you now in this segment. What we do is we're going to basically have Brian build a mini set just on the cuff. I asked him earlier if he wanted the song. And he's like, no, I don't want the song. Just give it to me the night of, and we'll go through with it. So, this particular song was one actually that was requested at my wedding. It would have been probably back in March. This is one of the bride's favorite songs, and I wanted to see how Brian would work this into the set. The song that she must have, and it's popular with her and her friends. It was the Safety Dance.
Oh. Yes.
So fairly simple song, but there's two things that Brian's going to give his opinion. Now, I want you guys out there in the chat while we're doing this, while he and I are talking about it. I'm delaying so that they can start putting things up and you give you a little time to think.
That's cool. I'm not in the room.
Yeah, we want to aim for about 4 or 5 songs in this set. Safety Dance can be in any part of that set, but we want to see what you guys are thinking and how you would use Safety Dance or some songs you blend in with Safety Dance.
Early 80s stuff is so easy, man. You can just throw anything against the wall and it all works out. Just like we talked about on these other shows. What you want to do on these is you want to build and build and build. You want to go good, better, best. Just like when you're shopping for paint rollers at Best Buy, which I did earlier, they have good, better, and best. That's how you select these songs. Well, Safety Dance is an interesting one. I remember trying to find a digital copy of this, a single of it, way back in the day. It wasn't available. You can look at the album version. Finally came up on some import CD and ended up paying like $44 for it just to have Safety Dance. So I could play it at the club because there was this big 80s retro thing that happened in the 90s when grunge hit. Because there was no good dance music coming out in the mainstream. So we started going back to that. And we're doing Soft Cells 1011. And we're doing Mickey. And we're doing We Got the Beat. All the silly stuff. So that's kind of where I would put these tracks. You can put it anywhere. Let's say we start with Safety Dance. Safety Dance is our first song. I would probably follow it up with something like We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's. We Got the Beat is always a beautiful one to go into Mickey with. It works in that order best because of tempos for some reason. I don't know why, but the energy level on Mickey is just stronger than the energy level on We Got the Beat. From there, you can go down a little bit, take it down, do Soft Cells Tainted Love, which we talked about, which is a really fun one that you can do. And there's so many. There's so many you can do. It depends on the crowd. There's 4. Do we need to keep going?
Yeah, give us a couple more that would fit into that, and I mean, I'm sure we're going to have. They're going to catch up with us here in a second. So
sure,
they're still talking about
this whole early '80s. I guess it was new wave or something that was happening. Very danceable, fun, catchy one-hit wonder tunes that you can throw out there. Geez, where do you go from there? It's been a while. I don't know. Let's see. I'm in Tainted Love. I need to get out of Tainted Love. I can go into something like. Oh boy, I'm just going through my database in my head. You try to stay in that kind of, you could do, I mean, I don't know the crowd, but like back in the day, what I would do, I would go into something really kind of goofy and new wave sounding like perhaps Berlin's The Metro, which is a really cool song. You could do something like that if you wanted to as well. That all fits right in there. If it's a crowd, if it's like a British crowd, you could definitely do like Runaway by Slade. And you've got other options with that too. With the British people, because they're going to dance to things that Americans want to dance to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, tons of things you can do with something like Safety Dance. There's probably a couple hundred tunes from maybe 81 through 84 that you could work into that whole set, dance tunes. And it can be American stuff. It could be Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant. It could be Rick James, Super Freak. It can be a Prince tune. It can be a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But it's all, and it could be Duran Duran. It could be Culture Club. It could be so many things. Tons of things you can do with that. A lot of fun working in those early 80s sets. And you're not beat mixing much of anything, but you're just going to go track and it all works out.
Jimmy Spin mentioned Finally by... which I think was
Finally by CeCe Peniston. That's like a decade away.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely later. I mean, it could be like as you're transitioning to working your way out of the 80s into the 90s.
I wouldn't do it.
Buttery with Africa, Toto's Africa. Maybe if you put that on the front of it.
I wouldn't do it.
That's almost... Again, keeping in our little thing, we've got the bride and her buds who are into it. That's not going to get them involved, active, or on the floor, because Toto for Africa is kind of like your latter part of. That kind of is. I'm getting ready to go to the dance. I want something that people are bopping to, but not. So
let's just etch a sketch this. Let's erase the whole thing. Back to what we were talking about. Let's try a different one, just so you kind of see the direction and the thought process that maybe DJs have used. You want to stay within the same kind of a general feel. Mm-hmm. Going from something like Safety Dance into CeCe Finally, that's like going from disco to rock. It's just they're different. They're
quite different. Yeah.
So if we started with Safety Dance, what if we did something like Madness is Our House as a follow-up? Or we started with Madness is Our House and followed with Safety Dance. And then from Safety Dance, we did Come On Eileen by Dixie's Midnight Runners. What about that? I mean, that's all kind of the same microcosm of music right there. It's that new wave, early 80s stuff. Mm-hmm. They were one-hit wonders. It wasn't energy. It was more new wave, and it was kind of off the punk tip and off the new wave tip. And it was weird. And Flock of Seagulls, you could do that. You could do Iran in there. I mean, those are the tunes that I think of when I think of tunes like Safety Dance. I don't think of CNC Music Factory. I mean, when I think of CC, I think of CNC Music Factory, Crystal Waters, even Technotronic, and Snap. That was kind of the energy stuff back then that people liked.
Mm-hmm.
Very different. That was like, it was 8 years later, but it might as well have been 100 years later because it was so different. In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree completely, and that was one of the things I wanted to make sure we were talking about. My particular version of using it, I would have put it actually second in the set. My pre-arranged set, or pre-thought of set, coming out of something that was probably most likely slower, coming out with Jesse's Girl, because I want to get people of that kind of time frame thinking, singing along, maybe working their way towards the floor. Then I can come in with the Safety Dance, come out of that with part of Karma Chameleon, and then Wake Me Up Before You Go before going off into something else.
You could do that too. Yeah, somebody in here is mentioning things like Small Town Boy. It's Jimmy Somerville. I mean, that's this person's either Canadian or British, because
I think
America would like never do that. But yeah, he's got Tainted Love, and he's got Tainted Love in there. He's got Does Our Love Triangle in there. All definitely could be workable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice bridge that he's saying. He's got Call Me by Blondie. He's got some rock in there. It's kind of a cool little set he's put together. So it's just who you are as a DJ. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to this. We're just throwing out what we kind of come up with. It's an art form. It's what we do and what feels right to us.
Yeah. And
we're also feeding off that dance floor too. So, you know, I'm envisioning something in my head that I've done 100 times. I've seen where it goes. That's where I'm pulling from. And that's what I did. So,
Buttery is asking about, what about Black Velvet?
That's that. Black Velvet is late 80s. That's damn near 90. So that's like, oh Jesus, Black Velvet's not even a dance song. But if it were a dance song, I would put it in a category with things like, it'd be like a roots rock track. Mm-hmm. That would go in with Tom Petty. That would go in with Sheryl Crow, or the Black Crowes, or the Counting Crows, or any of the Crows that you can think of. Any Crow would work with that. You name the Crow, you can put it with that.
And to put the time to play Black Velvet is generally after you've danced throughout the evening. You're getting towards the end of the night, and the ladies are getting kind of warmed up, and they're ready for some cuddling.
Yeah.
And this is one of those songs that you can play as you're trying to wind them down a little bit, because there's a little bit of a sexy thing going on in the background with the song, and it's placed in the right spot. It's a money song for making a lot of female fans, because they're going to be happy about the results of it. Mm-hmm. And the guys will be happy about the results of it too. But it's not something to play earlier in the night when I'm trying to establish a floor. It's almost really kind of, I want to bring a floor down, but I want to make sure that they're having an experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never, well, I haven't played the song in years. I don't remember where it was when I did play it. Probably early in the evening as background. I wasn't really playing as it.
Yep, I used to do that in the bar. That was one of my early songs in the night, or it was within that last half hour, and where I wanted to, again, bring the energy down a little bit, but I wanted to do it. And another song that I'd use in that last half hour occasionally was, it wasn't quite as effective as Black Velvet was, I Touch Myself.
Oh, Divinals,
because that was always good for a joke, or for somebody there's some gal out there who'd be doing a mini striptease to it. So
I spun that a lot in a club I did when I was probably about 19 or 20 when it first came out, and I was playing it as a music video, and it always did really well.
Yeah,
it always did. And I also used to hear it on alternative music nights. So if I was somewhere where they were playing Ministry, Front 242, and whatever, Happy Mondays, you would hear Divinals, I Touch Myself. And you'd hear Madonna songs too, because she was always kind of into the alternative Madonna stuff for a while. But yeah, I used to love that tune. I still love that tune. It's an interesting song. It's got some great key changes in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely does.
She died a couple of years ago. I don't remember her name. Australian chick. Australian band, and she passed away a few years back.
Yeah.
That was a great tune.
Good stuff. Okay. I'm going to get the link here for you guys for show 2. Pop that into the chat. We're going to switch so we can keep these from becoming too long, because I have a feeling that our second show is going to be a longer show tonight.
Twisted Mickey's, he's asking about Whip It Devo, and I'm just saying, yeah, Whip It Devo would definitely work with the Safety Dance. That does work. That's a good choice. It's very American. People from Ohio, and they just feel to me as a Midwesterner very domestic.
And then there's times where I wonder if Jimmy Spin is just trying to see what he can poke
Yeah,
9 Inch Nails.
Jimmy Spin's just he's just shaking the beehives all he's doing.
Yeah. We're going to come from Safety Dance into 9 Inch Nails, and then we're going to go into some Iron Florin right after that.
How about some Helen Reddy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're going to wrap it all up with Pat Boone with. Okay.
And don't forget Neil Sedaka's Laughter in the Rain. It's a jam. You got to get that one in there
Yeah,
too.
that'll be great. It'll be good. Gang, we'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to have a quick little break, and we'll catch you on a Q&A show. The link is in the chat. We'll catch you in a second.